Okay, so this week we're talking about percents, and this is what we're going to use to solve our percent problems. We have part over whole equals percent over 100. For these first three that we're going to do, you'll need to remember that part is and whole is of. So if we look at number 1, we can break this sentence up into 3 pieces. Okay, so the first thing we can do is put a square around it, and then we'll box off our percent, and that gives us our 3 pieces. So we find the word is, that's our part. We don't know what it is, so we can put an X right there. The next box is our percent. So we look right here and we see percent goes over here. So we're going to put 30. Then we have of 50. And we see that our whole is of. So 50 goes right here. Okay, and 100 is always going to stay underneath our percent. So to solve these, we cross multiply. So we're going to cross multiply 50 times 30, which 5 times 3 is 15. And we have 2 zeros. So we have 1,500. And then we're going to divide by the number that we haven't used yet, and we haven't used 100. So 1,500 divided by 100 equals 15. So 15 is 30% of 50. Okay, so let's go down to number 2, and we'll see the same kind of problem. So we're going to put a box around it, and we're still going to box off our percent first, and that will give us our 3. But it doesn't tell us a certain number percent, it says what percent. So that means we don't know what the percent is. So we see is, 12 is, that's going to be our part. So 12 is. Then we see what percent, so we don't know what the percent is. So we're going to put X. And then it says of 50. So we see whole is of, so of 50. Then on the bottom of X is going to be 100. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did up here. We're going to cross multiply. So we're going to do 100 times 12, which is 1,200. And then we're going to divide by the number we haven't used yet, which is 50. So 1,200 divided by 50, that is 24. Okay, so that means 12 is 24% of 50. All right, number 3. Same thing, we're going to put a box around it, and then we're going to box off our percent. This time we have a number, it's 30%. Okay, so 15 is, and we know that is our part, so 15 is our part. Then we have 30%, the percent goes right here. And then of what number? We don't know what number that is, so that's X. And then always underneath our percent is going to be 100. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing we did above, cross multiply. 15 times 100, which is 1,500. Okay, then we're going to divide by this number we haven't used. So we're going to divide by 30, and 1,500 divided by 30 is 50. So 15 is 30% of 50. And if you notice, it's the same problem as up here, just missing a different blank. Okay, so those are the what is blank percent of blank problems. Now we're going to go down to the word problems, and we're still going to use the same formula, part over whole. Equals percent over 100. We're still going to use that. Okay, but we're just going to have to read it and figure out if we're given the part or if we're given the whole. It says a class has 20 boys in it. If 40% of the class is boys, how many students are in the whole class? Okay, we already can see that this says 40%, so we already know our percent is 40. Okay, now we have to figure out if 20 is our part or if it's our whole. So it says a class has 20 boys in it. So is 20 the entire class or is it a part? If we read it, it's saying 20 is only a part of the class because we didn't count the girls. It's just saying that 20 boys, okay? So that means our whole is X. We don't know what it is. So now we have our part, which is 20, our whole, which is X, our percent, which is 40, and it goes over 100. So we do the same thing as before, cross multiply, 20 times 100. 2 times 1 is 2. We have 3 zeros, so that would be 2,000. And then we divide by the number that we haven't used, which is 40. So 2,000 divided by 40 equals 50. So how many students were in the whole class? 50. Okay. Number 5 says a baseball pitcher won 80%. So we already know that our percent is 80 of the games he pitched. If he pitched a total of 30 ball games, how many games did he win? So if we read this, we need to figure out if 30 is our part or if it's our whole. And it says a total of 30. So we know that's going to be our whole, and we're missing our part, so that's going to be X. Okay, so our part is X, our whole is 30, our percent is 80, and our percent is always over 100. So we're going to cross multiply 30 times 80, and we get 30 times 80, we get 2,400. And then we divide by the number that we haven't used, which is 100. So 2,400 divided by 100 is 24. So how many games did he win? He won 24. All right, and the last one. It says Donovan took a math test and got 20 questions correct out of a total of 50 questions. What percent did he make on the test? Okay, so it says what percent. So that tells us right there we don't know our percent, so our percent is X. And we have to figure out if 20 is our part or if it's our whole. So it says 20 questions correct out of a total of 50. So total or 50 total, that means 50 is our whole, and that means 20 would be our part. Okay, so our part is 20, our whole is 50, our percent is X, and always underneath percent is 100. So we're going to cross multiply 20 times 100. That gives us 2,000. And then we're going to divide by the number we haven't used, which is 50. So 2,000 divided by 50 is 40. So what percent did he make on the test? He made a 40%. Okay, so there is 6 problems to help you this week. If you need any help with any kind of problems, you can get on my office hours or Miss Hoffman's office hours, and we will help you. All right, see you guys later. Bye.